What just happened? Somebody tell me, somebody needs to explain to me what just happened. I mean, I'm shocked. I'm befuddled. I'm a little bit confuzzled. Any other synonyms out there? I'm confused. Any Lakers fans out there? Can y'all tell me what just happened? So in case you didn't know, in case you kind of been sleeping under the rock just a little bit, well, was it yesterday? It was either Tuesday night or late in Tuesday afternoon, Eastern time that is. Magic Johnson held an impromptu press conference and told everybody that he's stepping down as president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I mean, there's been a lot of theories swirling around both in mainstream media and here on YouTube about why he did it. And all of them are quite plausible. A lot of them I agree with, some of them I don't. And I mean, the most popular one that's been going around is that him and Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, they've just been haven't been on the same page. They've not really been agreeing on anything, and that she quote unquote took away his power. And if you're the president of basketball operations, but you're not allowed to do what your owner hired you to do, then yeah, I can see why he wanted to step down from that position. I could see why it would explain the bizarre timing of this, because they were going into the last home game of the year, and I don't know why he couldn't just wait until after. Maybe it was out of spite, out of pettiness, which is a little bit I'm going to talk about. So, I mean, before I go in more, let me tell y'all what I'm about to talk about, alright? Y'all already saw the title of the video. The Lakers are probably the worst franchise in the NBA right now in terms of organization and in terms of how dysfunctional they are. The entire year for this team has been just a dumpster fire, and incident after incident, I don't know, controversy after controversy. Of course, with the biggest one being them signing LeBron. Everybody knows that. Anything around him is a controversy. But since then, I mean, they went on a little run which got them 4th in the Western Conference. They were 2 games behind 2nd. And it looked like they were going to go to the playoffs. Then injuries upon injuries happened. Then there was that really whack and weird trade rumors that came out that apparently Magic was trying to trade the entire team to get AD. And I think that was one of his biggest mistakes, if not his biggest mistake this season. And he told guys in the locker room they need to buckle down and get used to it. That's just how the NBA is. Part of the NBA is a business. But then you come out here just yesterday, Magic, and part of the business is going through bad times, and you want to apparently step down because either you weren't happy with your power being taken away, or the role just wasn't what you thought it were going to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think there's just been a lot of dysfunction around the Los Angeles Lakers. They never regrouped. The players never had the same chemistry both on and off the court that they did at the beginning of the season. Coaches were not exactly doing the right job. There was Luke Walton. He was going to be a scapegoat. He's definitely not the main cause for the Lakers' downfall. But there was a couple times in the year you were watching games and he just had on some rotations of players that didn't make sense and minutes for them that didn't make sense, and so it was all thrown out of whack. By the way, I never thought I'd say this. Shout out to LeVar Ball, because I don't like LeVar Ball, but this man was right again, man. He said, what was it, a couple months ago, that he said that Magic Johnson had no power in the Lakers, and of course nobody believed him, because it's Magic Johnson. He's quite possibly the best. One of the best, if not the best players to ever play for that organization. He knows it inside out, all that. Why in the world would he have power in it if he's the president of basketball operations? But it appears that it was true. So I'm just gonna I have 2 theories on why I think Magic stepped down. Right? I have 2 theories. You guys probably heard both of them by now. It's been almost 24 hours since at the time of recording this, since Magic stepped down. But my first theory is just very surface level. It's exactly what he said. He wasn't having fun, or he wasn't having a good time. He just wasn't enjoying himself in that career path of being president of basketball operations. So what he said, there was people in the franchise talking about him behind his back, stabbing him in the back. He was being crushed and criticized for every move he made. And I'm like, well, That's what happens when you're president of basketball operations. That comes with part of the job. That could very well be why he stepped down, because let's be honest, Magic Johnson is not known for being Irving Johnson, as I think it was either Shannon Sharpe or Chris Broussard said this point, and I picked it up and I was like, that's pretty valid reason. He's not used to being the guy that makes all these decisions and doing the nitty-gritty work. You know, doing scouting, all that, traveling across the country, across the world to scout players out, being in the office all day, doing some paperwork and all that. He's not used to being Irvin Johnson. He's used to being Magic Johnson, the face of the place. He's used to being the guy that's associated with the organization, used to being the voice of it, used to being on the surface level of it, not used to being on the inside and doing all that work. And it could quite possibly be that Magic thought he could handle being on the inside. He could handle not being able to tweet whenever he wanted to tweet, talk to players that he wanted to talk to and help them out. It could very well be that he just wasn't allowed to be Magic Johnson. He had to be something that he was never really the role, that role of. You could bring up that, oh, but he's with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's a owner or part owner or something like that. And for the past 2 years since he's been part of that, they've been going to the World Series. And I'd say being a part owner is very different from being president of basketball operations. You know what I'm saying? What he is to the Dodgers is what Jeanie Buss is for the Lakers. He's not the one doing the nitty-gritty work. He's the one that hires people to do all that work. So it could very well be, hey, Magic realized that this just wasn't the path for him and he just wasn't enjoying himself. And whether you guys like it or not, when you're not enjoying yourself in a career path or in a job that you're in, you're not going to put in that full effort because the job won't motivate you to do that. So it could be that he realized, hey, I'm being more detrimental to the team by staying here than I would be if I were to leave. You know, very surface level theory, but very much so possible. Now the other one, quite simply, the one that really I thought about first before I went on and I started listening to Fox Sport 1. Because the other one is simply that, hey, there was some sort of disagreement between Jeanie Buss and Magic Johnson, most likely about Luke Walton and his position with the franchise, whether or not he's going to stay with the franchise. And that Jeanie Buss basically told Magic, no, you can't fire him, he's staying here. The reason this one caught my eye and caught my ear, and the reason I thought about it way before I saw it on Fox Sports 1 was because, like I said, the timing of this thing. The timing of this thing was before their last home game, before their season ended. And I'm talking about right before the last home game. This was like, what, a couple hours before? Players were probably in there warming up and he came out and started doing a press conference. Another reason, he claims that Jeanie Buss doesn't know he's doing this. That's kind of the pettiness I was talking about. Maybe he's getting back at her. You hire me to do a job, and when I try to do that job, you shut me down. I'm not saying, oh, this is probably the first time it's happened. No, this is most definitely not the first time it's happened. There's reports coming out saying that even though Magic raved about Lonzo Ball before and after draft, that Lonzo was a Jeanie Buss guy, that Magic actually wanted De'Aaron Fox. There's a bunch of reports coming out all of a sudden, and you could take that however you want it, whether it's true or not, but I don't know. I think this isn't the first time that Miss Buss has done this to Magic. Because Magic Johnson is not known as a quitter. He's not known as a quitter. You could just look to how he persevered through HIV, and it will tell you that he's not a quitter. But yeah, that's the second theory. It's basically that Magic wanted to do something that would have been, I guess you could say, against Jeanie Buss' ideals. Maybe she has a close relationship with Luke Walton. Maybe she sees something within Luke that Magic doesn't see, because there's also reports coming out that Magic is ever rarely within the Staples Center, or ever rarely within the Lakers headquarters there, ever rarely seen in the office, and that Rob Pelinka always jokes about, hey, where's Magic? Every day, because he's either out taking care of his other businesses or out doing some type of show or something. That's the Magic part of Irvin Johnson. He was never doing that Irvin Johnson part like I was talking about in the first half of this video. Another thing that sort of tipped me off that this that this was because some sort of argument between Magic and Genie, is that because you could tell he didn't want to leave the Lakers. If it is simply that, hey, this is not for me, I'm not enjoying myself, I guarantee you he would have waited until the season ended, let it be a bit more respectful and organized. But then also, Magic wouldn't be crying. Now if you look at his press conference, and maybe I'll put up a picture of him in the thumbnail of this video or something, of Magic in this interview, press conference, whatever you want to call it, because I'm certain, man, it was the weirdest thing I ever experienced. Probably, it was definitely the most odd press conference I've ever listened to. But he was, from the beginning of the conference, you could see tears shining in his eyes. And there was at one point when he said, when they asked about if Genie knows about it, he told them no. He's like, I'll probably start crying if I was in front of her. You could definitely see the tears they started welling up a bit more, and he had to pause a little bit to regain composure and all that. He was genuinely upset, sad, and disappointed that he had to leave the Los Angeles Lakers, because that's his team. He played for them for so many years. He's been to 9 finals with them, won 5 championships with them. That's his team. He's been with them for basically since his rookie year until now, whether he was in the building or not, as a player or as an executive officer. That is his home away from home. Maybe it is his home in general. He didn't want to step away from that. If he came away because he wasn't enjoying it, he wouldn't be crying like this. He wouldn't be this upset. He was this upset because he made the hard decision to himself, saying, I can't be in this place where I'm not respected, where my position is not respected, where I can't do what I'm supposed to do. Just days before this even happened, we were told that Magic was planning to fire Luke Walton. And so you're telling me, you expect me to believe, Mr. Johnson, that in that press conference you said you're not sure if you could alter somebody's life like that by taking away their job. You've already done it. When you were a player on the Lakers, I forgot who their head coach was at the time, but for some reason or another, Magic Johnson did not like them, so he went to the owner. And next thing you know, that coach was fired and they got the next coach. You're telling me if you could do it as a player, all of a sudden you got older, you've been in more businesses now, you know the cutthroat attitude of the business world, all of a sudden you can't do it to somebody that's under you within your own organization? No, I don't believe that. I believe he was going to fire Luke Walton and possibly even Rob Pelinka, because Pelinka hasn't been the greatest general manager. But I think Jeanie Buss said no, and that's probably the final straw for him. Hey, maybe it's both of them rolled into one. Maybe it's that plus the fact that at every single turn excuse me guys, maybe it's that plus the fact that at every single decision he made, he was either highly criticized for it or just completely crushed for it by media. But once again, like I said, you have to expect that when you're with the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the 2 most historic and 2 most storied franchises of the NBA. It's them and the Celtics. You gotta expect that. You're gonna be under a microscope. Everything you do will be criticized. And add on to the fact that you brought LeBron James along with you, or actually I should say LeBron came along with you, then it's like tenfold. Listen, I don't know where the Lakers are going. I don't know what they're gonna do. Before this even happened, I had a hard time believing they were gonna get anybody in free agency. Now that it did happen, nobody's coming to the Lakers. I don't see a superstar or somebody of that all-star caliber saying, hey, I want to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. The place where president of basketball ops and GMs try to trade away the entire team for one player. The place where the owner sometimes even prevents that GM from doing something when they want to do something good. The place where the team is never together and there's always injuries and where you're under a microscope. The place where it's been basically a dumpster fire compared to their usual standards for the entire year. I don't see them going there. And I think Magic knows that he was going to make the situation worse. I think he knows that when he decided, hey, I'm going to do it as impromptu, I'm going to do it now before the season's end. I'm going to make it look even more messy than it already is. Maybe that's his little petty revenge against Jeanie Buss. I don't think anybody's going there. And now there's the fact that what's LeBron gonna do? Is there a trade clause in his contract? Can somebody tell me, is there like a no trade clause? Because if there isn't, don't be surprised if he says, I want to trade, I want to get out of LA. I would. And even if he doesn't, there was reports that Bus wanted to trade him. After the entire All-Star incident, apparently she was looking for trades for LeBron. Don't know how true that is, but there you go. What player would want to go to a team where the owner wants to trade away their best player? The title might have been clickbait, and I admit that, but it's not that far off from the truth. That's all I gotta say today, guys. I'm probably putting this up tonight. Maybe I'll put it up Saturday. I don't know. That's all I have to say about this. I'm just shocked. I don't know what to say. I think the Lakers right now, they're in a very bad position. I don't see them improving from here on out. But who knows? That's all I gotta say. It's your boy Noname. I'm out. You're